All right. Sorry about that. As usual. So yeah, the map that I made was faded, bled out just from humidity in the air, and where I had it stored in a trailer for quite a while, there was a little minor dripping into that compartment. Even more moisture. Some of it got on the map. So anyway, but it was stored. When I moved into the cabin there after the divorce, I threw it in a locker. Apparently, and when Shirley and Bill moved in, she was going through the locker and asked me if I wanted it, and I said, "Yeah, that's going to be in the OzArk Plateau Museum of Kingdom History someday." So, if it is, it'll be as a dug up Dead Sea Scroll, fragments of papyrus and scroll and whatnot. So anyway, yeah, this looks better than where I had it before. So, okay, continental United States. Golly, I had a. There we go. A screwdriver worked great. There we go. Okay. So, just to recap real quick, from the Rockies to the Appalachians, and I'm thinking center down each of those. The reason being is that the craton doesn't go anywhere. I read one of the most beautiful descriptions of the craton, and that was the craton is like the grandmother at a big family reunion. She sits in her rocking chair knitting and watching the grandkids, and everybody's running around, kids and grandkids playing and falling and tripping and moving around and having a good old time. And Grandma says, "I remember what it was like when I was young." And the point is, she never moves. So the craton is that's how it is. It ain't going anywhere. It's over twice as thick as the rest of the Earth's crust. It's 120 miles thick, where the crust, especially out here, is extremely thin and shot through with fissures called volcanoes. So not safe, not good. So the other couple other factors. So what my point is that when in the days of Peleg, the Bible says that the earth was divided in the days of Peleg. That's why he was named Peleg. And if you imagine on a map just the land masses being spread out, well, as forces came in from the west and the east and slammed into the craton, the Rockies poof spring up, and the Appalachians poof spring up. Okay, so my personal conjecture, and of course on a flat Earth map that makes all kinds of sense, because if you look at the land masses on a flat Earth map, they're in the middle of the map, and they're surrounded by oceans, which is exactly what it says in the Bible. God says, "Here, this is where your proud waves shall halt. Thus far shall you come and no farther." Okay, that is true on the flat Earth. It is not true on a globe. In the globe, everything's all one. It's all one. It's all one big mass of land, and they're kind of connected. And there's all one big, the oceans are everywhere. Just, look at it, it makes sense. Look at a flat Earth map, and it'll really make sense. In addition to the fact that the flat Earth is a battery. That's why they don't want us to know it, because it's completely free energy, exactly as Tesla told us. Okay, so enough of that. Bunny trail. So, continental divide, Appalachians, east-west boundaries of the craton. Get inside the craton. Do not be outside the craton. Like I said, out here, hundreds of volcanoes. And one time we were having a little get-together at the house, and two of my granddaughters were there, and the oldest one, Sarah. I was explaining all this, and I said, well, you have if you handed a map of the earthquakes in the United States, and you told a young man, Johnny, first grader, whatever, connect the dots, Johnny, and he would go connect, and he would draw the craton. So my granddaughter went, "Oh, Grandpa, so what you're saying is that the electrical energy inside the craton is dispelled or balanced out by tornadoes, and on the edge of the craton it's primarily dispelled or balanced out by earthquakes, and outside of the craton, electrical energy is balanced or dissipated or, smoothed out with volcanoes, hurricanes, etc." So, yeah, interesting. All right, so I was taking a break there and looking at some downloads, and I pulled up a couple downloads. So this is showing the craton. And this is, as far as I'm concerned, compliments of Dutch Sins. I mean, he's a place where I found it and learned about the craton. So you see the brown area, that is the craton. It extends from the Rockies to the Appalachians, from mid-Texas. This is not a great backed out shot of it. It goes from about mid-Texas right across the edge from the border there of Oklahoma over into Missouri, Arkansas rather. You have the edge of the craton right along Highway 40 for a while. So anyway, if you notice outside there in the purple, it has deformed craton. It's thin, unstable, not safe. So now, where am I going to go from there? I'll try it. I'm just going to have to back out. I think I'll pause it. I'm seeing one thing when I have the opportunity to download something, I need to do it as opposed to a screenshot. This is pulled off a download, really clear. So that this is showing the Pacific Northwest. More specifically, I had this up when I did the series on comparing the OzArk Plateau Refugium versus the Pacific Northwest readout states. Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, eastern Washington, eastern Oregon. You know, that region in there is depicted or pitched as a good place to go. It's going to be the final frontier, the final stand, blah, blah, blah. And the people proposing that idea are all wet and messed up on that. So listen to my series on that if you want my opinion. I tried to be as nice as possible, but it didn't work out. I had to be honest. You know, in that region, number one, there are no borders. There are no protective rivers or anything. And two, you're right there on the edge of the craton with Yellowstone right there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not a good place to be. Lots of volcanoes, incoming foreigners from the West Coast, incoming foreigners through the Canadian border. There is no protection. All right. I'm going to end this one here. This is Jerry Diamond. If you're listening to this, you are the remnant.